Next meeting will be in 2026. So, welcome everyone here. We need a motion to accept the agenda. Moved by Whitmer, second by Matt. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Just so the public is aware, Valerie Durson is online, zooming in, right? So, any declaration of community interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move right on to the minutes of the December 2nd meeting, moved by Pickard, seconded. Any errors or omissions noted? German at 11:58 a.m. not p.m. Yeah, okay. Any other? Seeing none, all those in favor as amended? Opposed? That's carried. Business arising from the minutes, CL report 61, Debbie, please.
Council, I have nothing to add, if you have questions on the.
Any questions on the clerk's report? Business arising, seeing none, do we have a motion to accept the report? Moved by Wade, second by Booker. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Now becomes the time for Mary Ellen to have her I don't think we should call this a roast. Today is Mary Ellen's last council meeting as a staff person here. And after 28 years of dedicated and committed service, so on behalf of council, I want to say thank you. But before I do that, several people wanted to say something. So we're going to start with Valerie, who's online. Valerie, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mary Ellen, thank you very much for your willingness to keep us all on the straight and narrow. You are always so knowledgeable and helpful. Plus, you have a way of making each and every one of us feel so special. It's with a heavy heart that I see you leave. And I only pray that your retirement brings you special moments of relaxation and comfort. Thank you for being with us all those years, Mary Ellen.
Thanks, Valerie. Anyone else want to comment? Councillor Pickard next.
Yes, Mary Ellen, if I were to look up the definition of CAO in the dictionary, I'm sure your name would be there. You did a fabulous job. You have a great personality to work with people. You have a way of getting things done without stirring the pot. And you spread a lot of support to council. And this was not an easy council, as you know. And you did a great job. We really appreciate it. I think I was here for 4 terms. And good to say enough about your work.
Anyone else? Councillor Wade.
Yeah, Mary Ellen. My name is Councillor Frick. I've been here 4 terms. You've been at the top of your class every year. And one thing that really stands out is how well you are received and respected by the community. You are a great representative of this township of committee meetings, and they respect and they hear what you say, and I admire that in you. You'll be missed, but your shoes will be filled. Okay.
And Councillor Yurko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mary Ellen, I've already texted you some of my comments, but it's always amazed me that no matter what came up at a council meeting, no matter what challenges were faced, you always met them with a smile and we'll work on it, or you already had been working on it and had some solutions to it. Always impressed me how prepared, how on top of things you always have been, how positive you always were. always a smile on your face. And whenever I left your office, I always felt like whatever I had brought to you was going to be dealt with appropriately. And I thank you for being that person for this township. You've left a very strong team in your place to take on your role and the rest of the senior staff here as well. And you've led by example and you've set us up very well for the future, and I thank you for that.
I can't add too much more to what everybody else has said, except I just wonder how many times you burned the midnight oil even after you left here, because you always seemed to be working, and no matter what the challenge was, you seemed to climb on top of it and take care of it. It's been a pleasure working with you.
So I'm just gonna make a couple of quick comments. The first one is, like Councillor Yima just said, I think one of the things that I've appreciated the most, and I think you know how much I appreciate you, is the fact that you were always building for tomorrow and particularly around staff and always trying to reinforce and support and mentor staff. And the other thing I will always appreciate is your dedication and commitment to public service in the truest sense of the word. You always knew that your job was to serve the public, not to do what they want, but to serve them in an appropriate and professional manner. I've always also said that I always consider you, and you kind of get to know the other CAOs a little bit in the county, but I always considered you one of the best in the county. And you alluded to earlier, you weren't really flashy or, threw stuff out. You just actually did with a very even and fair hand and with great respect and humility. And I have always appreciated that. The Greek philosopher Ecclesiastes tells us that to everything there is a season. And there's a time to work and there's a time to let go of work and do other things. And so in this, your season of letting go and moving on, some call it retirement, but being married to Eddie, I'm pretty sure that's not just what everybody else would call retirement. But anyways, I do hope that this next season is one that you will appreciate, and as much as we have appreciated you. So with saying that, you have a small card and a small gift for you for your many years of service. Okay, we're getting, yeah. But, okay, I kind of wondered there. Okay, 400, yeah. Okay, now, did you want to say, okay. We have a long agenda tonight.
Yes, I know. So this is actually my 40th year of service for municipalities. So 28 years here and 3 different positions up in Huron County. So I've been attending council meetings for 40 years. And I can't believe this is my last council meeting. Anyway, what makes it really easy to go is the people who are here. I have to truly say that if I had to worry at all about how things are left, I would not feel comfortable going. But I know that things are going to go well. So I wish everybody the very best and I'll be around. This just said to Adam, I'm gonna go to the Santa Claus Parade in Mount Elgin on Saturday. But just thank you, everyone. I truly appreciate this and yeah, just settling into retirement and spending more time with grandkids. And also, I would also like to thank the volunteers for all the work that they do, continue to do. And it's been a pleasure. It truly, truly has. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we now get down to the other business. So, the next thing is the engineer's report to the Salford drain. And Mike, come on up. Go ahead.
Right, okay, this report was prepared in accordance with section 78 of the Drainage Act for repair and improvement to the existing Sulphur drain and actually a portion of the Quinn drain. This is the lower portion of the Sulphur drain, closer to its outlet. It has an outlet in the Quinn drain, main drain. And it runs from west to east up into Sulphur. It was constructed, the portion that we're replacing was actually constructed at 3 different dates. The very bottom end was constructed in 1927. And then the upper part of what we're working on was constructed in 1965 and a little bit in 1966. So it's in the area of the railway and to the west and a little bit to the east, up towards Sulphur. What happens is there's a lot of fall from Sulphur downstream. And as you approach the railway, the ground starts to flatten out and the pipes have some less grade. And then because the pipes are old and the joints aren't fixed in any way, the water will have create either a pressure or a vacuum in the pipe at times, and the joints aren't wrapped, and over time they will try to either suck sand in or dirt in or blow dirt out. And that is when what's happening, it's in poor condition. And the landowners have requested it be replaced. The downstream Quinn drain was improved in 2009. The lower end of the Quinn drain was improved with a 30-inch pipe, which was the largest pipe you could buy at the time. And for that reason, it was improved to a 3/4 inch design at that time, which was right around the time when they were looking at making a change, the recommended change from 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which is from 25 to 38 millimeters. So the Quinn drain downstream is somewhat undersized for today's standard, but it seems to be working for the owners. These owners requested that we improve this work here to a 38 millimeter design for the future, but then throttle it down in a few spots so that it would only work to a 3/4 inch and not overload the drain downstream, but be there in case in the future the Quinn drain, main drain is upgraded. So you wouldn't have to then spend money going in and putting another pipe in down the road. The railway pipe, the pipe going across the railway, is of 2 ages as well. The main portion of the pipe was put in 1966 or 1965. It appears that the railway has widened the platform since that time privately. So there is no engineer's report, or there's no documentation to show that was done, but the lengths and the material of the pipe on the upstream side or the east side of the railway is different. And it appears that they have extended it on their own at that time. That pipe does need to be enlarged even for the 3/4 inch drain. So there was some attempt made to try and help that out, get a little bit more depth. But because of the cost of doing a full new boring across the railway and the fact that you're going to be limited downstream, and then also some of the legal challenges with the railways, it was decided not to pursue going to a full replacement at this time and wait until the downstream is upgraded. So there were some repairs or there's some improvements made locally, some minor amounts. There was engineering done to determine the size and the depths that would be needed for the future, so that the future work would be less if the railway was ever improved, to coincide with the downstream work. So that was all included as part of the design and part of the engineering, and is set for the future if things are improved downstream. So this project entails about 465 meters of the bottom part of the Sulphur drain. The upper part of the Sulphur drain, there were portions that were improved in around 2002, and there are some remaining parts that are 1966 left, but they are in working order and they're quite steep and have a fair amount of capacity, and no owners have done any requests. So that is what's being proposed, and I will stop and open up to questions.
So any questions from council on this? Councilor Yevon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like you referred to the upper and lower parts of the drain, so the upper part of the Sulphur drain, then is that the part that runs through the village then?
Yeah, there are parts that run through the village, and that it does, like I said, there is part upstream of our work that I would still consider the lower part, which is immediately downstream of Durham Line by the church, just through the corner of the church and then down through that next farm. That part is quite steep. It is not having problems now. It is the original 1966 drain, but it is fairly large for a design standard of a farm. And there was, because of the large distance downstream to a ditch or to an open outlet, there was no contemplation of trying to create an urban style design all the way down to the ditch. If there was ever any future improvements made, my discussions would then turn to maybe doing some stormwater management, berming of water and trying to slow water down rather than trying to make the pipes bigger than an agricultural design at that point. But yeah, the upper part is the urban part. It is mostly storm sewer seal pipe along the roads. And then the lower part is what we're working on.
Any other questions on this? Go ahead, Councilor.
Just one further. So at this time, you're not proposing any work to be done on the CPR lands?
There is just the repairs to do right on the very upper end. You can only go so far down into the bank and we've actually gone in and looked and tried to do that already so that we knew what we could do. But it's not worth spending the large dollars that it would take to get across the railway without having the downstream drain fully improved at this time. So the boring that was put under in 1966 was oversized. It was a 12-inch pipe at that time. And so it's not perfect, but it is certainly large enough to do its job in the meantime. There's a little bit of pipe left in between, but it's such a short length, it's not worth the dollars. But our recommendation is that if the downstream drains are brought up to today's 38 millimeter design, and then you can de-throttle the pieces that we have, then that railway probably should be done.
But at that time, hopefully we'll have all of our challenges resolved.
Yeah, that's the hope too.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on this drain? Daniel, you're recommending it, any comments you want to make?
No. All of my covered it very well.
Okay, anyone in the public want to speak to this drain? Don't see anyone. Thanks very much, Mike. Tonight is first and second reading of the bylaw. And, at some point in the future, do we have a motion,
If someone better for the drain meeting was having issues getting up in the elevator.
on from them?
No, yeah, you're trying.
Oh, the elevator, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so just be a minute.
That's a problem. Don't go anywhere, Mike, but maybe.
I'll stay here.
Oh, okay. Test it from time to time and just show the work.
So that's easy, but I can just
Yeah. I think it's fun.
Okay.
So we were just discussing the drain, the sulfur drain, did either of you two want to make any comments on it?
Well, do you wanna make a comment on the drain at all?
I don't know what to comment.
This is on the, construction or design of the drain. You want to touch on it briefly, Mike?
Yeah, I can do a brief description. I had explained to council that this project is to replace the lower portion of the existing drain, the sulfur drain and even a piece of the original branch of the Quinn Drain. The very lower part was built in 1927, and then the upper half was built in 1965. And the landowners felt that it was in poor condition and should be replaced. And then as while we're doing that, we would make the pipe larger to bring it up to today's farm standard. We would have to throttle it down a little bit because the main drain of the Quinn is a little bit undersized for today's design standard. But they felt we could spend that money now, make it a little bit bigger, but then throttle it down so that it's there for the future.
Yeah.
The railway crossing is not going to be done now, but it was partially designed to be able to be done in the future. Again, at the same time, if the drain downstream was ever done, then you could do the railway. It's a lot of money to do the railway, and a portion of it is pretty good in size. It's actually two different pieces as well. The original railway was built with one track, and it appears that there was a secondary track or a wider platform built at a later date. And so there was some repairs done, or it could be done on that very upper part as much as we could without going into the embankment. So there's some future work on the railway and maybe some future work on the main drain if people ever want it, but then at least this piece would be finished. There still is a piece left in the last farm between this work and your line. So there's a piece in there, but it is quite steep and in good condition when the landowners didn't feel it was necessary, and it's a decent size, so there's no work contemplated there. And then anything from Deer line upstream or east into town was done at a later date in 2002.
So where exactly does the current drain go under the railway?
It would be, there's a farm, a 50-acre parcel that's owned by the Kleinstern property. It's not the farm on the corner, but it's the farm to the south of that. And it crosses the railway there in about the sort of not quite middle of it, but just south of the middle of that northerly 50.
So when you do the railway, will you have more costs then?
The railway will at that time, the only thing that, no, just the railway. At that time. Because the rest of the drain is gonna be the same, it wouldn't change in any way.
Yeah.
It's just that the railway cost is quite large to do a brand new one. You have to have, the geotechnical report, the requirements of the railway now are greater than what they would have been back 20 years ago. So there's much more engineering work, and then the cost itself to jack and bore a pipe in there is quite large too, so it was felt that could be left for another day. Because of the limitations there's already written down. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Yip, you wanted to ask?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mike, so if the Quinn drain itself was ever improved in future years, that would have ramifications for the landowners of the Sulphur drain as well, wouldn't it?
Yes, all property owners within the watershed of a municipal drain are liable to contribute financially towards work. So they wouldn't be, the properties on the Sulphur drain wouldn't be paying towards the Sulphur drain, but they might have to pay towards the Quinn drain. So it would be a bigger area and a much larger group of properties, but they would have to contribute if that Quinn drain, which goes south for another kilometer or more before it finds an outlet, that if that was ever done, you know, who knows how long in the future, then all those properties would be contributing.
Okay, so is there any more questions on the design of the drain? The next meeting sometime in January, at the end of January, will be recorded revisions for the drain for anyone that wants to appeal their assessment. But tonight it's just the design, so. No more question on the design. Is there anyone sort of ask, take off or add to the petition?
Yeah.
Nope, okay, good. Then I won't ask. Any further questions on this drain? Then do we have a motion? Moved by Pickard, seconded by Wade, and would that be the recommendation as in the report?
Yes.
Yes. Resolved, the council of Sussex, accept the engineer's report attached to the appendix A to report DD 12/2025 prepared by Streets Associates and dated November 7th, 2025, regarding self-draining in accordance with section 78 of the Drainage Act, RX 1990, chapter D17, and further, the council approves the bylaw in the form prescribed by the regulations with the engineer's report attached to it, to the second readings by council, at which point the report shall be considered to be adopted and the bylaw shall be known as the Sulphur Drain Provisional Bylaw. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yes,
Opposed? That's carried. All right, so that's it for that drain. The next one is the Court of Revision for the Parnell Allen drain. Need a motion to appoint a Court of Revision, moved by Buchner, seconded by Way, Buchner, and Pickard be the Court of Revision. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Councillor Way, chair of the meeting, please.
Okay. This Board of Revision is for the east branches of the Hiram Allen Drain. Call the meeting to order at 6:56. Have approval of the agenda. Have a mover? Seconded by Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Confirmation of assessment. There was no verbal or written appeals have been received by the clerk for consideration.
I have someone online. Okay. Oh, okay.
No members of the public have registered to speak to the Court of Revision. And is there anyone from the public appealing the engineer's assessment schedule for the drain? I see none. So now we need a motion to confirm the assessment schedule for the drain, moved by Paul,
Second.
seconded by Jim. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adjournment, moved by Paul,
Second.
seconded by Jim. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Resolved that the Court of Revision held on December 16th, 2025 be now adjourned at 6:57 p.m.
Thank you, Councillor Way. We'll now move on to our public meeting for the ARU zoning bylaw amendment. Annie, are you gonna take us through that?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, lead us through it.
Thanks. And slide deck. The clerk's on up. Perfect, thank you so much. As always, please let me know if I need to speak up. Sometimes I can be quiet. So you may have recalled I visited your chambers on August 12th of this year to present some preliminary findings concerning the rural township's experience with repairs use as part of the request to initiate. So some of these slides might be over here. Next slide, please. So this slide shows the provisions that would be affected by this proposed amendment. And the intent generally is to make minor changes to improve implementation and clarity and support greater consistency with municipal and provincial policies. Next slide, please. So as part of our review, we learned that gross floor area is meeting all of the desired outcomes with regards to lot coverage. And the bylaw would therefore adjust how ARU scale is regulated by shifting away from gross floor area as the sole provision to regulate scale. And the proposed amendment achieves this in two key ways. The first, the bylaw would limit ARU size through an existing definition, dwelling unit area, that is proposed to be amended to focus on spaces like bedrooms, kitchens, or bathrooms, while excluding areas unsuitable for living. And second, a new definition for ground floor area that describes the footprint of the building was supposed to be used to calculate lot coverage. So this definition would ensure that the types of structures that affect lot coverage outcomes, like things like stormwater management, are counted while adding exclusions for the parts of the building that are less of a concern, like these. Just to give an example. In order to ensure that the proposed changes to lot coverage don't inadvertently allow for larger multi-story accessory buildings were not intended, a final version of the bylaw may maintain the current gross floor area coverage requirements in combination with the proposed amendments to lot coverage. And for clarity, that potential approach is reflected in the attached bylaw for this report for your consideration today. An alternative approach, to give an example, to avoid those larger multi-story accessory buildings would be to limit buildings to a maximum of 1 story, so accessory buildings, where appropriate, and for greater clarity, that approach is not reflected in the draft bylaw today, but just explaining 2 possible ways that we would approach that consideration. Next slide, please. So in addition to adding a definition for ground floor area, we have some new definitions for distance from and detached area U. And the intent is to make existing requirements easier to calculate or improve the bylaw's overall precision. Whereas amending the definition for principal dwelling will clarify that the addition of an area U does not change the principal dwelling into any other type of dwelling. And so the goal here is to make the intent of these proposals, if and when they occur, more explicit. Next slide, please. We can understand these next changes as those which improve consistency with municipal and provincial policy. So we're proposing to add a provision requiring area use to have direct access to the same driveway as the principal dwelling. And that is an official plan requirement. And this is intended to incentivize area use to remain within the established residential area on a farm. Again, that's a requirement of both the official plan and the 2024 provincial planning statement. Similarly, we're proposing to clarify what the maximum number and whether planning approval is required for detached area use. This will depend on the zoning of the lot and again, reflects an existing official plan policy. Next slide, please. Another legislative change that's recently occurred is Bill 185, the Cutting Red Tape to Build More Homes Act. This added some new standards for area use that are in force and effect. So it now requires for fully serviced settlement areas, an area U cannot be required to have a more restrictive minimum lot area than the principal dwelling. And municipalities must permit a maximum of 45% lot coverage for all buildings and structures on a lot where an area is established. So the proposed amendment would capture these new requirements and it would affect the R1, R2, R3, and the CC zones. Next slide, please. Moving on to technical amendments. So this is where staff feedback really helps shape the draft bylaw for your consideration today. In terms of brevity, I will summarize all of the proposed changes. These are outlined in greater detail on the staff report, but some key items for council's understanding. So with respect to garden suites, ongoing consultation with staff across municipalities suggests that dwelling unit area is an appropriate standard to use to regulate scale for garden suites. So this, in addition to removing the minimum floor area requirement for garden suites, would create greater consistency between how ARUs and garden suites are assessed at the municipal level. Regarding MPS, we're proposing to amend an existing provision for minimum distance separation 1 calculations. And the existing provincial guidance document essentially already provides this direction, however, has not explicitly stated how the requirements relate to ARUs. So we've reviewed some recently provided updated training from ONAPA that builds from this existing direction. And that clarifies that MBS 1 only applies to detached areas. So in short, the proposed bylaw would therefore add this distinction for clarity. Lastly, we found some opportunities that make the implementation of accessory structures more consistent. So for example, we are proposing to permit some reduced setbacks for very small accessory structures that reflects what other municipalities are doing. So that's one example. Next slide, please. Thanks. In terms of next steps, we provided a recommendation that council approve in principle the proposed zoning bylaw amendment, and that a finalized bylaw would be brought back to a subsequent council meeting to be passed. Next slide. And that's it for me. I want to thank you all for your time tonight. And I'm available for any questions.
Okay, thanks, Annie. Any questions from council on this? Not seeing anyone in the public want to speak in favor or speak to the proposed bylaw? No one wants, go ahead.
Sorry, I just caught up with this yesterday, so I don't know all the details, but an ARU and a garden suite are still both separate things then? And what's the maximum on A1s and A2s?
Through the chair. So yes, you asked if garden suites are still permitted?
Yes.
Yes, garden suites are still permitted. And your second question was?
How many, somewhere I saw 2 units per property, or did I read that wrong?
So up to 2 ARUs are permitted on zones, A1 and A2 zones. 1 can be in a detached structure and 1 can be within the principal dwelling, or 2 can be in a principal dwelling.
Okay.
Go ahead, John.
Just one more question, as a livestock farmer, I guess the MDS one, so the ARU is detached, so it's a little bit away from the house, can't be more than 30 meters, if I read it properly or thereabouts.
Thank you. So, through you, Mr. Mayor, the 30-meter setback distance refers to the distance between a detached ARU and a principal dwelling. And, the amendment to the definition is to clarify it's between the two closest points. MDS one separation requirements are a separate calculation. It will depend on the type of use that's near the detached ARU. So depending on the livestock facility or an anaerobic digester on a separate lot, or how many nutrient units are within that facility, that would impact the radius that's required for MDS one between the detached ARU and the facility. But if it's on the same lot, then it's not concerned.
So the follow-up question, I guess, is for the livestock, swine production has got the most onerous MDS numbers. Will the new distance now be to the new ARU or to the principal residence? Will it matter, I guess?
Thank you. So through your question, if there's a livestock facility or a noxious use, just to use it.
Noxious.
Or anaerobic digester, an odor causing use on a separate lot, it's between the detached ARU and that use. But if an ARU is established inside the principal dwelling, that setback isn't required. Does
So
that
the
make sense?
detached dwelling becomes the nearest residence. The
So,
detached ARU, sorry, becomes the nearest residence.
yes, that's
Thank
right.
you, that's what I was saying.
Okay, thanks.
Good. Any other questions? Go ahead, sir.
And as somebody,
And your name first?
Jeff Quinn,
Yes. Okay.
so somebody that's not overly familiar with all the bylaws and such, is there somebody on council or somebody at the office that can interpret some of this, should, let's say one of my kids want to build? And that party's name would be,
My name is Laurel. I'm the planner assigned for Southwest Oxford,
okay,
so I'd be happy to get with him.
yeah, because it seems like you need somebody that knows what they're doing to wind their way through. the
And that's why we're here. Yeah, we're happy to talk to you.
Laurel actually works out of the county office, but does planning for Southwest Oxford, so.
And I can come here if you, whenever.
So she's bilingual.
Pretty much, yeah. If Jeff, if you want to set something up, contact any of the clerk and he'll help to organize it for you. Okay? Any other questions on this? So Hannah, I know I'm a little bit slow on this, but just help me on the gross floor area. Is that the total area of the first floor or the maximum floor area? Do I understand that right?
Thank you. So through the chair, the current definition of gross floor area encompasses multiple stories of a building with
So-
certain exceptions for below grade. So that's the current approach for
Okay.
controlling lot coverage and the size of areas.
But I said that wrong, ground floor area
Yeah.
is the actual footprint on the ground. And that's what we use for lot coverage.
So through you, currently, ground floor area is not a definition. It's not used in lot coverage. So lot coverage today is gross floor area is used to calculate lot coverage, which is a bit of an issue because we want lot coverage to be measured through the footprint rather than multiple stories.
Right, so, but in the future, ground floor area would be the 20 by 20 house would be 400 square feet. That would be your gross floor area.
So through the proposed
Ground
amendment,
floor area, sorry, ground floor.
yeah, yes, that's correct. So through the proposed amendments, we would use ground floor area to affect lot coverage.
Yes,
And we may consider, as shown on the attached bylaw, retaining gross floor area as well. So for accessory structures, we would use both. For detached ARUs, they would be subject to ground floor area through lot coverage and then dwelling unit area.
make sure I've got this right. Gross floor area, if I have a basement at 3 stories and they're all 800 square feet at 3 stories. I have a 2,400 square foot house.
Yeah, so
If
my.
you don't count the basement.
Yeah, so there's certain exclusions for things below grade, so, but it would count.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep getting gross and ground mixed up in when I say it, so, okay, thank you, that was good, I had, yeah, no, I think that was the only one that, I was struggling a little bit with, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Seeing none, the next step, whoops. On the place here. The next step on this is, that the zoning bylaw comes back to the township.
You would recommend a motion for council to approve the bylaw in principle, and then the bylaw will come back to future meeting.
Okay. So the official bylaw will come back.
Correct. Yeah, that's why
Okay.
it's just a draft form, like the staff report, and the slide deck. It's not under bylaw.
Okay. So tonight, staff want us to pass a draft bylaw. Or,
You're
bylaw for the draft
approving the bylaw.
in principle, okay.
It's attached to the draft. Recommended motion was the same one that you guys staff report.
Oh, this one here, okay. So, we're moving our seconder for the recommendation that we approve in principle. Moved by Book, this second by Wade. Resolved that the council of Towns of Southwest Oxford approve in principle the proposed zoning bylaw amendment, file number ZN 42513. To introduce amendments to township zoning bylaw number 2598, and that the bylaw be brought back at a subsequent council meeting. Any further discussion? Question? Seeing none, all those in favor,
Yes.
opposed, that's carried. Okay, thanks very much, Sam, and have a wonderful Christmas season.
You too.
The next one is the public meeting zone change application for Shelley Mullen, and I don't see anyone here, online. Nope, okay, for 197515 Ontario Limited. So, Laurel, I think that you're on for this.
Great.
Thank you. For you, Chair Mayberry, Mayberry, and members of council, staff, and members of the audience, I'm happy to present the zone change application for 312855 Durham Line. The owner is 927-515 Ontario Incorporated, and the applicant is Shelley Mullen. The purpose of the application is to fulfill a condition of severance application B 2514-4, which is a common zone change application. So the purpose is to rezone the lands to be severed from general agricultural zone to rural residential zone. So that the lands be severed when they're conveyed to the lands to be enlarged, they're consistent with that zoning. This severance was granted provisional approval on June 30th, 2025. So the severance application was to sever an area of 0.757 hectares or 1.4 acres from the subject land, add it to the rear and the south of 312890 Durham Line. So the abutting property, one of the abutting properties. And it would result in an increased area, increased depth, and increased frontage. The newly enlarged lot will have an area of 0.79 hectares or 1.93 acres, have an approximate depth of 118 meters, which will bring the lot area and lot depth into compliance with the requirements of the rural residential zone. And you can, thank you for bringing the map up. You can see the lands to be severed and the lands to be enlarged and the lands to be retained on that map. So in terms of circulation of public consultation, the notice of complete application was sent to members of the public November 6th. Public notice was sent out November 26th, 2025. We did not receive any comments or concerns from agencies, staff, or the public. In terms of the provincial planning statement, this proposal satisfies the PBS with respect to agricultural uses in prime agricultural area and the ability to permit lot adjustments for technical reasons as determined in the original consent file. The official plan does permit limited non-farm rural residential development. And in this case, as the application is not proposing the creation of a new non-farm rural residential lot, staff are of the opinion that this is consistent with the policies of the official plan and that the enlarged lot will continue to be compatible with the abutting agricultural use and will not create conflict with farming activities. In terms of the township zoning bylaw, the area frontage and lot depth of the enlarged lot are in conformity with the provisions of the rural residential zone. And the lot to be retained, so the existing agricultural lot will still exceed the minimum lot area for an agricultural parcel. Given that the proposal complies with the provincial policy planning statement, the official plan and the zoning bylaw, staff recommend support of this application, and I have attached a draft bylaw for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, so the applicant isn't here, it's new online, so, any questions from council for clarification? None, anyone in the audience want to speak to this application in favor or opposed? Seeing none, back to council, any discussion? Councilor Pickard.
This makes a lot of sense to me. We've got an undersized lot. With the additional land, it will now be a conforming lot. So I think we should approve it. It's my recommendation.
Okay, do you have a seconder? Second by, Yipma. Any discussion? Councilor Buckner.
This doesn't change the rural settlement area at all?
Through you, Mayor, no, it does not. No, that was a comment in the report about the southern area, but no, because it doesn't change the boundaries of this one.
Okay, I just wondering because it was moving farther to the south.
Yeah, I did mention it because it is adding a parcel of land to a lot that's already in the southern area, but no, this addition is not changing.
Okay, so. This is one where I've been wondering about this because. You're going from, I'm trying to remember what the lot size was, the current lot size was. But you're moving up to 85,000 square feet when rural residential only needs to be 30,000 square feet. It's almost 3 times larger than it needs to be. I'm just wondering why there was a requirement for that much extra land.
Thank you for the question through you, Mayor. There's not I wouldn't say it's a requirement for that much extra land. The proposal is to provide enough room for the farm equipment for the remaining agricultural lot to access that lot without ruining the trees that are on the rural residential lot, and to make sure there's enough distance between the existing structures and the driveway for the agricultural lot. And it also squares up the rural residential lot in a way that makes it easier for the farmer to conduct their farming practices.
But if the south boundary of that lot, of the addition had been moved to the current south boundary of the lot, you would have doubled the size of the lot. It still would have been about 60,000 square feet. And we would have not given up another 25,000 square feet of farmland. That's.
You are correct.
Well, I'm just surprised that land division would allocate that much extra land, because if you. I mean, it would have exactly the same effect on the farm operation. Anyway, seeing no other concerns, anything further on this? All those in favor? Opposed?
Yes.
That's carried. Next one, public meeting for zone change. Did we actually go into a public meeting last time?
You can, but there's no actual requirement to pass a motion before the meeting.
Oh, okay, so I'm just comparing a public meeting, thank you. We're now into a public meeting for zone change applications that in a 42504 for James Hamilton Generation Grain Elevator Limited and the Apple Margot Farms and Watermelon Fund Parent. More or less the same process. Laurel, go ahead and take us through the application.
Thank you. This is application ZN 42504, as you mentioned. The purpose is to rezone the lands to be severed from general agricultural zone A2 to special agribusiness zone AB 19 to recognize the change of land use resulting from the severance B 2516-4 granted on July 3rd, 2025. So that severance essentially facilitated two minor boundary adjustments. The first was to create a more squared and regular configuration of the lot to be enlarged, so the generation green lot, and to adjust the boundary of the generation green lot, so increase it a little bit so that the vehicular access, so the driveway, would actually be fully contained on that lot. So prior to this process, the vehicular access remained on the abutting property. So they did not actually have their vehicular access on the property. So a total of 0.43 hectares or 1.06 acres will be conveyed through the severance and added to the north and the south of the agribusiness property. As this is not resulting in the creation of a new lot, and to my knowledge, no new construction is proposed through this process at this time. The property is surrounded by agricultural lands, and I would note that the current agribusiness parcel was originally part of the subject lands. The notice of complete application was sent out on November 6th, 2025. Public notice was sent out on November 26th, 2025. There were no concerns from the public or questions. There were also no questions or concerns from township or county staff or any agencies or departments regarding any aspect of this proposal. In terms of the provincial policy statement, it complies with the policies of the PPS regarding permitting minor boundary adjustments for legal or technical reasons. As this adjustment is to reflect exclusive patterns of use, so the driveway, and create a more symmetrical lot configuration for the agribusiness parcel. This is considered an appropriate lot investment in the prime agricultural area. The official plan, as I mentioned, does permit minor adjustments for legal or technical reasons, including adjustments to the boundaries between abutting lots to conform to existing patterns of exclusive use, and to correct issues related to the encroachment of building structures, on-site services, etc. So conveying lands containing the main vehicular access and driveway to create a more symmetrical lot configuration are considered consistent with the official plan policies. In terms of our zoning bylaws, staff are of the opinion that the lot to be enlarged and the lot to be retained meet the provisions and intent of the zoning bylaw. We do not anticipate that this proposal will result in issues of compatibility with the existing uses and existing patterns of land use. Given that the proposal complies with the PDS, the official plan and the zoning bylaw, planning staff recommend approval and support of this application, and a draft bylaw is included for council's consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Good. Any questions from council for clarification? Seeing none, James, is there anything you want to comment on? No. You're in favor of the report?
I am.
Okay. Anyone in the public want to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the public want to speak opposed to the application? Hearing none, back questions or comments from council? Councilor Perry.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I see the driveway is already over on the farm and it's probably time to have it, the boundaries adjusted so that the driveway's on the farm or on the agribusiness lot.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion? Councilor Yilma and Councilor Frederick, and the motion would be to approve, please approve. Moved by Yilma, seconded by Frederick, resolved that the council of township Southwest Oxford approve the zone change application submitted by Margot Frank under whereby the land described as block 6, Pheasant Tree, West Oxford, south of Kings Highway 401, township of Southwest Oxford, are to be rezoned from general agricultural zone A2 to special agribusiness zone AD 19. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yes,
Opposed? That's carried. Oh, you want to move up to the bylaws, okay. Then you want to wait for a minute, we'll do bylaws and then you'll know that, done, okay. I'm on bylaws and agreements. And I don't think we can. Because we haven't had the report on concert fees. So why don't we do bylaws for 78 and 79? That's one you suggested. Okay, let's do bylaws 78 and 79. No greater discussion on budget. I have a motion to approve bylaw 78 and 9, moved by Pickett, seconded by Way, and the bylaw will read.
Resolved that the following bylaws be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw 78, 2025, a bylaw to amend township of Central Sector zoning bylaw. And bylaw 79 of 2025, a bylaw to amend township of Central Sector zoning bylaw.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, so, bylaw appeal period is
20 days from.
20 days from when it's mailed out, which will probably be tomorrow or Thursday, so. Okay, thanks very much, James. Merry Christmas. Now, putting back to, we were at, staff reports. Go ahead, Dan. Clerk report, 52.
After the mayor council, this report proposes updates and models fee increases to the township fees and charges bylaw. Effective January 5th, 2026, council reviews this bylaw annually or as needed. The last update was effective August 1st, 2025. The proposed changes shown in red in Schedule A include additions and updates to fees increased by 1.8% of the living adjustment and are rounded to the nearest dollar. There are some greater increases for fees and for limited select services as outlined in the report, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so any questions from council on this? Any there, seeing out of line? Not seeing any, do we have a mover and seconder? Moved by Gibbon, seconded by Way. That. Appreciate you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thanks very much for American, appreciate it. Result of the council of the Southern Report Seals, 2025 fees and charges by law 2026 updated information. Further, the council adopt the updated fees and charges by law as presented in the bylaw section of the agenda. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? That's carried. Discussion item. Mr. Adam. I think this, Silver Road's a county road, so I think this person that wrote the letter, was, referring to the county. I think they are do a double shift.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, any comments from you on snow removal in general, other than problems with certain trucks, or,
No, we're still maintaining our level of service with no problems at this time.
okay?
I
Any
agree, we
comments?
just wanted to start through the county road, so.
Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, okay, and the other one is the budget. So, anything you wanted to bring up before we, jump into the budget?
No, just the OPP, obviously came in last 2 weeks ago, I guess now. At the full 11%, that's what we budgeted originally, so I'm just taking this.
Okay. Councillor Yilmaz, any questions you want to raise?
I just wonder when I look at the executive summary, a couple of the larger percentage increases or decreases, I wonder if we can go over a couple of those: general government, building department.
Good.
Those two stand out.
So the increase to the general government department is mainly because of the Ingersoll boundary adjustment, agreement, funding. We are planning to have to give back. So we're planning to receive it all in 26, but also have to give back about 80%. So that's about $480,000 that we're preparing to get, as well as we have added a $200,000 debenture payment for the new bill. So that's our main difference for that. Building department, we decreased the building permit revenue by $60,000. So that's what increased the expense.
So I think last year we projected 260 some thousand for building permit fees. And we're at what now, Dana?
160, isn't it?
How much?
Around 160.
176.
76. So rather than put in another 260 for next year, that's back to them. Okay. Hence less fees, more taxes. Anything else? No, you? No, okay. Any other questions on this? This is the budget that is in the bylaw. Sure. Okay, any other questions? Sorry, Val, I'll keep getting to look up and you're only this big on TV there. Okay, then we move on to consent agenda. 1 to 20. The motion then to note and file. Or is there anything you want to take out of that? So do you want to move that? Let me just concurs.
I'm sorry, were you speaking to me?
Yeah, did you want to move the consent agenda?
No, I'm fine.
No, I think the answer is yes, I'm fine.
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Moved by Val, seconded by Brookner. Anything you want taken out of that? Councillor White.
Number 4, the letter from the Upper Thames Chair, we responded to that last meeting, did we not? Okay, I just wanna, so we had a meeting up there today and that came up and I thought we had responded, so.
Good, anything else? All right, so, they go to the consent, or sorry, to note file, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed?
Yes,
I'm now down to accounts payable. We have a motion here, moved by Booker, second by Yevon, resolve the following accounts be approved, payment of accounts payable from November 30th to December 13th, 2025. $1,230,473.90, payroll number 25 general, $67,373.01 for a total of $1,297,844.91. Any discussion? Councillor Yevon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to Daniel, I believe, the last item on the bottom panel there, the Gordon Smith drain cleanout. Is that the one through my place?
Just east of your place. Same drain that runs through your place, but east
Okay,
through the Long Point property.
they don't pay that?
What's that?
They don't pay that?
They'll be assessed as drain maintenance on it, part of it, it will be assessed to the watershed of the drain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this? Councillor White.
The Shillington McCall Legal Services for drainage. Is that,
Extension drain.
drain? And where are we at with that?
You'll find out in close up.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any discussion? Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none. What?
Second with that.
We'll talk.
Booker and Yevon.
Okay.
Sorry. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
That's true. All right, now we can do the bylaws, and I think we're doing the bylaw number 75 to 77.
Yes.
But only first and second reading of 76, right?
Right.
So let's do 75 and 77 together. Motion to first, second, and third readings. Moved by Ways, seconded by Pickett. First, second, third readings for 75 and 77, and it would be
Resolved that the following bylaws be read first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw 75 of 2025, a bylaw to amend the township fees and charges bylaw. And bylaw 77 of 2025, a bylaw to adopt estimates of revenues and expenditures for the year 2026.
any discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Yes.
All right, and bylaw number 76, revision of bylaw for Salford Drain, first and second reading, moved by Rickard, second by Buckner. Any discussion? Oh, you want to read it, so.
Bylaw be read a first and second time, bylaw 76 of 2025, a bylaw to provide for drainage work for the Sulphur Drain.
Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? That's carried. Any notices of motion? New business? Seeing none, council roundtable. So Valerie, since you're not here, you get to go first.
Well, thank you. It's very quiet in Ward 3. We did have a tour for the Engage and Inform essay winners, and it was a delightful tour. Well done. I'm sure, and I saw some unique and peak interest in what the young folks were seeing. With regards to any upcoming meetings, I don't believe that there are any. The airport is not having a meeting this month. And the Engage and Inform, we're meeting on Thursday to judge the Christmas tree light contest. So with that, we'll have more information about the winners at the next meeting. Thank you.
Good. Then Councilor Buckner.
Everything in Brownsville's very quiet at this time. Just regular rentals and everything else, and other than that, hoping everybody has a very Merry Christmas.
Good, and Ward 4, Councilor White.
Same thing, pretty quiet in Ward 4, just busy with hall rentals at Woolman's Hall, both every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it's pretty good, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
I did see the assistant curator for Beachville won the award.
She did, there was, the history award.
Yep.
Yeah, Sydney,
Yep.
yeah, so congratulations to Sydney on that, yes.
Okay, Councilor Rickard.
Like everywhere else, it's quiet. We had our old fashioned Christmas, last Friday night, we had a huge crowd again. I think we estimated 175. The pavilion was just full of young kids. Thing has grown, and it's something the community really looks forward to, and we had people there that came as young kids and did crafts. They're now bringing their kids. You think a lot of times they think of Sweetburg, you think of the old fashioned Christmas, the impact it had on them when they were kids. And, we're doing something right, lots of spirit there. Well.
Good, and Councilor Yurma, Ward 2.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So, Aaron Center had their Christmas in the Village event on the 29th. From all reports, it went over extremely well. The horse-drawn wagon rides were a real hit. And, according to the folks that were there, they said there was about 35 kids there and then at least that many adults as well. So, that went over very well. So that was encouraging. Long Point Region had their Christmas dinner last week. I was not able to attend that. The last Mount and Hall Board meeting I was not at either. Of course, took a long time that day, so I'm not sure how the trivia night went. Did you want to speak to that for me?
Well, I would suggest that it just went fantastic. We were certainly, the township team was certainly up in the top 10% or 20s, maybe 30%.
Yeah, maybe that's generous. We do have the winner.
Yeah, well, I
I
don't
don't
mention that, but.
No, I don't say, I just said he's here.
Just go to his head anyway. That's all the answers apparently, so. No, we had fun, 12, 13 tables,
At least.
14. I thought it was really well done. And, I think everybody has fun and, good on, Hogwarts for doing it, so. Yeah, well organized and, well run. Couple of quick things I was, Val mentioned earlier, the tour. Took you through the youth, from the essay contest on Friday, so thanks to all of the staff that participated, Adam and, fire chief, staff here in the office, for showing them the township parts of it, good tour of the library, or of the museum. And, Fire Hall of Beachville, couple of trails, did the tour of the landfill and toured the, or not toured, but went by the new park in Mount Elgin and the new subdivision. Kind of see what does a new subdivision look like and then what does a complete subdivision look like. Kind of, so that was kind of nice to be able to do. And the only down part was we got to the airport for lunch at 1:30, and they're supposed to be open till 2, but that day they closed at 1:30, and the young lady there said, I've already cleaned the grill, so she didn't really want to cook anything for us. So it said they'd go to Subway or someplace instead, so that's where we went for lunch. But quite impressed, both of the people, young lady, young gentleman, were very impressive. Very aware and did grade 8, but you sort of feel really good at the end of the day. I'm sure Val would agree that at the end of the day you felt like, boy, if every young person were like these two, you'd be pretty thrilled with prospects for our community.
Absolutely.
The other thing I was going to mention is,
Who were the winners?
Lauren Hamilton, James' daughter, and Isaac Pure from Selford.
Oh, okay, yep.
Trying to remember Joanne and what's his name on the Quinn farm. Here, yes. That was the two really quite sharp kids. Very impressive. Today we did the emergency management. I see Shane has gone to all the staff, Brooke and Benny, Julie, Daniel. Thanks for going through that. I think it's a good reminder, and I think every time you go through it, I learn one new thing. And today it was around the site versus kind of the whole area, and how you have to look at them as two different animals in the same sort of emergency. And so that was well done, and special thanks to Shane and to Nicole Vardy for all the work they put into it. If you pass that on, please. Yeah, Beachville museum lights, big crowd. I'm always impressed by how many people show up there. And as Councillor Pickard said, an excellent crowd at the Super Christmas. Last year they did 3 wagon loads. This year, before we left, they were on the 4th wagon load of people that did the tour of the Sweeper. So don't know how many, 775.
I think they ended up with five trips.
Yeah, I think last year it was 3. So both nights absolutely perfect weather. So whoever's in charge of weather, congratulations. You did a wonderful job on both nights. So, is that the first job? But probably. Anyway, enough for council roundtable for me. I think, you want to take a 5-minute break before we go into closed session?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll go into closed session. Street Associates at the left.